Welcome back, students, for Susie's Biology. Today, let us revise the chapter photosynthesis. So, 6% of weightage is given for this chapter, and those who are new to this channel can make use of the links given in the description for the chapter wise revision. And kindly share and subscribe and share your likes and comments also. So what is mean by photosynthesis? So all the plants, they are having autotrophic mode of nutrition and they are using the raw materials such as carbon dioxide from atmosphere and water from the soil, and in the presence of sunlight in the chloroplast they are converting the raw materials into food. So that is the sugar or starch, and they are releasing the oxygen into the atmosphere. So thus it is an oxidation reduction reaction where water is oxidized and carbon dioxide is reduced. And here is the balanced equation for photosynthesis. So 6 molecules of carbon dioxide react with 12 molecules of water. In the presence of sunlight, it is converted into sugar and water, and oxygen is released into the atmosphere. And this is an important experiment, variegated leaf experiment. What is meant by variegated leaf? It contains both green and non-green parts. So this experiment is done to prove photosynthesis takes place only in the green part of the leaves, in the presence of the light. So how to do this experiment? So actually take a variegated leaf or a normal leaf, and in a normal leaf you can cover a little portion of the leaf with a black color paper along with the clip, and after some time you can test for the presence of starch with iodine solution. So actually the iodine will turn the starch into blue color when they are added. So here you can observe only in the green parts the starch is converted into blue or black region, whereas the covered portion they are not having the chlorophyll for photosynthesis, so it is not turned into blue or black color. So here you can see in the variegated leaf also, only in the green portion you can see the blue or black region for iodine test, that is starch test. So this proves that the necessity of chlorophyll for the photosynthesis. And this is one more experiment, half leaf experiment. This revealed that carbon dioxide is essential for photosynthesis. So for this, a part of the leaf is enclosed in a bottle containing KOH, potassium hydroxide solution, and half of the leaf is exposed to air. After sometimes if you perform the starch test, you can see the blue-black region only in the exposed part of the leaf. This is happened because the covered portion with KOH solution, there is no carbon dioxide, since all the carbon dioxide are absorbed by the KOH, so it is unavailable for photosynthesis. Thus, this experiment proves that carbon dioxide is essential for photosynthesis. So this is called as Moll's half-leaf experiment. So here some of the important points are given here. Joseph Priestley, the first image, he demonstrated the release and restoration of oxygen by the plant. And the second person, Jan Ingenhousz, he established the sunlight is essential for the plant, and he is considered as the father of photosynthesis. And the third person, that is Julius von Salk, he identified the formulation of glucose in plant. And the fourth person, Engelmann, he described about the action spectrum for photosynthesis. So the next is the site of photosynthesis. Which is the site of photosynthesis? Chloroplast is considered as the site of photosynthesis. So it is having a double membrane, outer and inner membrane. Inside that you can see the coin-like structures. Each coin is said to be the thylakoid, and all together the piles of coins arrangement, it is said to be granum. And inside the all the granum, they are interconnected between the each other by Fred membrane, and the matrix portion is called as stroma. So what to remember here is granum is the important region for light reaction, and dark reaction occurs in the stroma part of the chloroplast, and all the photosynthetic pigments helps in this process, namely chlorophyll A, B, xanthophyll and carotene. And blue and red regions are found to be very effective for the photosynthesis, and there are two systems, namely photosystem 1 and 2, and they are considered as the light harvesting systems. So the photosynthesis consists of two reactions, namely the first one is light reaction or Hill's reaction, and the second one is Calvin cycle or dark reaction. So light reaction occurs in the grana part, dark reaction occurs in the stroma part. So in the granum part, what will happen? The ATP and NADPH are produced as the products of light reaction, and with the help of these products, they are called as assimilatory powers. So with the help of this ATP and NADPH, they are fixing the carbon dioxide. So the dark reaction is said to be the carbon dioxide fixation. Thus both are interdependent on each other. So only after the light reaction produces the assimilatory powers, the dark reaction can happen, and they release the NADP and ADP, which are further used by the light reaction. So these are the differences between two systems, photosystem 1 and 2. So photosystem 1, P700 is the photocenter and or a reaction center, and they use light energy to convert the NADP into NADPH2, and they are located on the outer surface of the thylakoid membrane, and they involved both in cyclic and non-cyclic photophosphorylation. Here the NADPH is synthesized here. Whereas in photosystem 2, the protein complex will absorb the light energy, and P680 is the photocenter, and they are located on the inner surface of the thylakoid membrane, and they absorb shorter wavelength of light, and only they involve in cyclic photophosphorylation, and ATP is synthesized here. So this is the light reaction. There are two types of reactions, namely cyclic photophosphorylation and non-cyclic photophosphorylation. Phosphorylation means ATP formation is said to be phosphorylation, and in the presence of light, so it is called as photophosphorylation. And first let us see about the cyclic photophosphorylation. So what happens when the light is absorbed by the chlorophyll, they get excited. So during their excitement, they release two electrons. So these two electrons are transferred to many electron carriers. All the violet color round are said to be the different electron carriers. So the electrons are passed through the electron carriers. So while the electrons are donated, it is said to be oxidation. And when the second substance accepts the electron from the first substance, it is said to be reduced. When the third substance accepts the electron, it is said to be reduced, and second substance is said to be oxidized when it donates. So likewise, oxidation reduction occurs sequentially through many electron carriers. And meanwhile, what happens is the chlorophyll, it creates a gap. So that gap is filled by the same electrons. So after traveling to many electron carrier, the same electron will come and fill that gap. So it is termed as cyclic photophosphorylation. So meanwhile, what happens? ATP is synthesized. Similarly, the non-cyclic photophosphorylation, the same thing happens. So the light is absorbed by the chlorophyll, and it gets excited, and it releases two electrons, and the two electrons are passed through many electron carriers, and the electron is not cycled back. But the gap created in the chlorophyll is filled with the electrons donated by photolysis of water. So it is called as non-cyclic photophosphorylation. So here NADPH is produced. So this is the two reactions of light reaction, cyclic and non-cyclic photophosphorylation. So after the completion of light reaction, with the help of the assimilatory powers produced in the light reaction, namely ATP and NADPH, Calvin cycle proceeds. This is called as the dark reaction. So the carbon dioxide gets fixed. So it is accepted by the the carbon acceptor compound. So 3-phosphoglycerate is the first molecule and is converted to a series of molecules. And finally, the ribulose bisphosphate is again formed. So this ribulose bisphosphate, it only first accepts the carbon dioxide molecule in the presence of Rubisco enzyme. You can view the reactions in your book. So this is called as carbon dioxide fixation, Calvin cycle or C3 cycle. So since the first formed compound, it is having 3 carbons, it is said to be C3 cycle. So the dark reaction, it is known as Calvin cycle or C3 cycle, and the light reaction products are ATP, NADPH. They are used here, and there are 3 stages in the dark reaction, namely carboxylation, reduction and regeneration, and the carbon dioxide is fixed by Rubisco enzyme. This is very important. Ribulose 1,5-bisphosphate carboxylase oxygenase. So it is playing a dual role. So carboxylase is involved in carbon dioxide fixation, and oxygenase is involved in oxygen fixation. So you can refer all the steps in the dark reaction, and the first stable product is 3-carbon phosphoglyceric acid. So only it is called as C3 cycle, and the plants which are having this type of reaction, they are called as C3 plants, and 6 turns of Calvin cycle, they form 1 molecule of glucose. So these are some important points to remember. The next cycle is C4 cycle. It is otherwise called as Hatch and Slack pathway. So these are found in plants such as sugarcane, corn, maize, millets, etc. And here these plants, they are designed that they can efficiently fix carbon dioxide even at low concentration of carbon dioxide. So such plants are said to be C4 plant, and they can fix the carbon dioxide into 4 carbon compounds. So only they are termed as C4 cycle. So the first step is the phosphoenol pyruvate. It accepts the carbon dioxide and is converted into oxaloacetate, and later this oxaloacetate is the 4 carbon compound. So only it is termed as C4 cycle. It is converted into malate and aspartate in the presence of NADP. So here the malate, after the formation, they get transported into the bundle sheath of the chloroplast. So this reaction first occurs in the mesophyll, and after the formation of malate, it enters into the bundle sheath of the chloroplast. There it converts into carbon dioxide, pyruvate, and NADPH. So this carbon dioxide released from the malate, it is accepted by the ribulose diphosphate, and it proceeds the Calvin cycle. Whereas the pyruvate formed from the malate, again it enters into the mesophyll shells of the chloroplast, and it is again converted into the phosphoenol pyruvate, the first compound of this cycle. So this is known as C4 cycle or Hatch-Slack pathway. The efficiency of the plants in order to reduce the carbon dioxide usage is the benefit of this C4 cycle. So these are the C4 plants such as corn, maize, sugarcane, millets, etc. And they are having a special type of anatomy that is called a Kranz anatomy. So the C4 plants have Kranz anatomy. You can see the bundle sheath. So this is the round structure. It is called as the bundle sheath along with the chloroplast. So in surrounding the vascular bundle, and outside the bundle sheath we are having the mesophyll cells. So both in mesophyll cells and bundle sheath cells the cycle occurs. So this is said to be the Kranz. And the next important pathway is CAM pathway or crassulacean acid metabolism. Here what happens, these CAM plants, they live in dry conditions, and in order to reduce the usage of water and to minimize the water loss and to fix carbon dioxide easily, this pathway occurs. So the special thing is that during the night time the stomata is open here in this plant, whereas the daytime the stomata gets closed. So what happens during the night time, the CAM plant, the stomata gets open, the carbon dioxide enter, and they are fixed as organic acids. So the organic acid is oxaloacetic acid, so by the phosphoenol pyruvate. So the oxaloacetic acid is converted into malic acid, and they are stored in vacuoles. So all the organic acids are stored in vacuoles, and then during the daytime what will happen, the stomata gets closed and they conserve the water and the malic acid. So they are containing the carbon dioxide. So they are again release the carbon dioxide, and it is converted into the pyruvic acid, and the Calvin cycle as usual they routinely happens, and carbohydrates are produced. So this is said to be the CAM pathway. So such plants are called as CAM plants. So these are the CAM plants: cactus, pineapple, kalanchoe, agave. So the first image is cacti, second is pineapple, and third one is kalanchoe or the ornamental plant, and fourth one is agave, century plant. It is called a century plant. All these are CAM plants. So they open their stomata only at night time. That is said to be the CAM plants. So this is very important. And thanks for watching, and in the next session we can see about the respiration in plants and the plant growth and development. So kindly share and subscribe this channel for easy revision of NEET 2020. Thank you.